At the February 23rd Lansing City Council meetings, the council heard plans to revise the tagging process for properties with code compliance issues. They heard a tax break request from a developer looking to build apartments downtown for single folks making the median area income. The only split vote of the night was for the appointment of a new Ward 1 representative to the Police Commissioner Board. Council members reminded each other to stay in your lane. And there was a refreshingly eclectic mix of public comments. Welcome to What Lansing Council, a podcast transforming Monday night's Lansing City Council meetings into an enthralling recap. I am your host, Jill Dombrowski, and today my very special guest is Ryan Kost. Hello, Ryan.
Hello. I liked it better when this was a gossipy thing.
We can still gossip.
Maybe we'll have to change that today.
Yes, perfect. Ryan Kost has been Lansing's first ward city councilor since 2023. While in office, he has focused on addressing housing needs, holding landlords accountable, and advocating for workers' rights. He works at the state of Michigan and has 3 adorable pooches. Yes,
Madison, Manhattan, and Pesh.
Wonderful. How have they been doing in the new council year so far?
They love that Dad is home more.
Good.
My Rottweiler Madison is attached to me at the hip.
Aww.
She's very sweet, and loves people, but I am her person, so she's attached to me at the hip. The Coonhound Manhattan, as long as there's food, she could care less if I was dead on the floor. She may even lick me for salt.
You know, I feel like it's probably good to have a wide range of personalities in your household because that's what you get from the public as well.
Yeah, you do. You do have. That is so true. There are so many personalities. That has been the most interesting part of, well, I'm rolling into 4 years here.
Yeah.
Is meeting all of the very unique personalities and different perspectives from different neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Truly. Mm-hmm. Just a few miles away, less than that sometimes. And there's huge differences in how people think or what a neighborhood should look like. I mean, you look at the east side and, as you being my neighbor, literally my neighbor 1 street over, I can see your house from my second story.
You're keeping a watch on us.
I am. I got binoculars. I'm gonna do like, you remember the was it Mary Poppins movie, right? Mm-hmm. Where the Admiral has a balcony on top of his roof.
Yes.
Yes, that'll be me one day. And there's a house in Home Street neighborhood just south of us that has one of those.
Oh, yes.
I would pay just to climb up those stairs and be able to put a lawn chair there in the morning.
You know, you could update the city building code to make those easier to make.
I know. Well, technically, I don't think that's within the building code now.
Within the 2021 updated ordinance or what the standards, I guess?
Well, that should be interesting. I've actually asked for a copy of all of the changes and the changes highlighted because there are some changes that are regulatory in nature, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's also, I think, a lot of things packed in there, and I need to see what exactly it is that we're passing because some of that stuff is stuff that I put in there that was mixed in with all of this. Mm-hmm. And I don't like passing things when there's like a weak thing in there that maybe couldn't pass, but if you stick it with all this other stuff,
right, it'll pass.
We need to make sure that we're maintaining a fair balance.
Yeah.
That tenants have protections.
Yeah.
I think that's an important point. In the state of Michigan, we're a very friendly landlord state. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm not anti-landlord. We have plenty of really good landlords that do knockout job. They do the right thing every time. Mm-hmm. And then we have landlords that, given 2 seconds of freedom, would absolutely do the wrong thing.
Yeah. And I think it's hard for those people who want to do the right thing to see, oh, these guys next to me, they do whatever they want and there's no repercussions. Like, why should I be held? Why am I holding myself to this higher standard?
We had one person come before us that was asking for a 6-unit apartment build on a residential property.
Okay.
Well, come to find out, this person was doing Airbnbs out of the city and literally told us it was cheaper to wait and get caught to register them as rentals than it was to actually register them as rentals. Because I drove past every house.
Wow.
And none of them are registered as rentals. And that's dangerous.
Yeah.
As you know, we just lost a neighbor on Clemens 2 weeks ago to a fire in an unregistered rental, and there's an ongoing investigation. And, you know, I'll say what I said to the news when I talked to them. It is absolutely unacceptable. Yeah. That was a refugee that died in that fire. That it didn't have to happen that way.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for staying focused on this. You know, I really appreciate your attention to these issues that are what's happening in our city.
Yeah. But you know what? Housing is such a key. And I appreciate you highlighting that, because I think that most people think housing, let's just keep building. And I don't disagree with that idea, but also let's build variety.
All right, let's get into the meeting. You ready?
Yeah.
Great. So we're at the February 23rd meeting. First, we have the Committee of the Whole. All council members present. We have you, Mr. Ryan Kost of the 1st Ward. We have Dianara Navarez-Martinez of the 2nd Ward, Adam Hussein of the 3rd Ward, Peter Spatafor, Council President of the 4th Ward, and our at-large members of Tamara Carter, Jeremy Garza, Clara Martinez, and Council Vice President Trini Pelivanoglu. Also, we have Greg Venker, the City Attorney, Sherry Boak, the Recording Secretary, and Mark Lawrence, the Mayor's Chief of Staff. Great to see you, everybody. We're starting off with a budget report for the 2nd quarter of the financial year, and Jake Brower says things seem as expected, except for the cable franchise fees were lower than projected. Is that like cable TV? Wow.
People still do cable TV.
Well, I would do it if I could get the Olympics. I couldn't figure that out. I watched like 2 events. Did you watch the Olympics?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Curling?
On cable?
At this point, no.
Okay.
I'm not wealthy. I don't have cable. We stream. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, same, stream.
I really get into curling.
Oh, nice.
In 5 minutes, I'm an expert, right? Like, oh, they're not pushing the broom. You're doing it too much. You're not doing it enough.
That's right.
I was telling my dad where the stones came from, and I was...
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's like a special place in Northern Europe.
Maybe we could get some curling at the shuffleboard and curling. What do you think?
We could. You know, what I would love, and we would need this for curling, is an actual ice skate rink again.
Yes.
And that is something I've discussed with the mayor.
That would be amazing.
He has told me that they are working on it.
Oh.
I have a pretty good idea.
Fountain or ice skate rink?
How about both?
Both.
How about both? How about we start spending the money that we have that we collect in taxes on the actual taxpayers? We had so many places to ice skate when I was a kid in this city. And I understand the climate has changed. I mean, we literally have changed climates because of global warming.
Sure.
And you know, weather changes. But we could put an ice skating rink in.
Yeah.
Also, I think that it's a disservice that Rudder Fountain has been broken for so long. I understand that's a money issue, but we throw away money at so many things that are incredibly frustrating. It's time that we spend money publicly on the people that put that money in. Yeah. You know, you look at the condition of our neighborhoods. You hear that we get streets swept twice a year. That is not nearly enough. I mean, my street, your street, we're all filled with leaves still. I mean, it's... Yeah. The plows don't come through. I mean, it's not fair. Yeah. We still have this struggle, Jill. And I campaigned on this 4 years ago, and I still fight this. Some neighborhoods get everything. And so they think everything is hunky-dory. They get the plow, they get the speed bumps, they get all the stuffs. It's a lot of things. Yeah. You know, but we continue to fight the good fight. And, you know, I make it a priority to be all around the ward all the time. Even if I'm not, that's one thing I don't like doing. I posted a lot more when I was first on council, but now I'm more of a quiet person where I'll quietly take care of something. I just need to make sure that things are right for citizens. And if that's going on my own dime and throwing down salt on our roads, so be it. We got to take care of the folks in the city.
And it's very admirable that that's your approach, and you're out there and you're doing the work, and I think people really appreciate that. But I worry that in having that sort of approach, it's like we're not changing the system. Like the system is so hard to change. I'm just going to do this myself. But as a council member, you have the opportunity to make change at a higher level, to work together with these other to make the change together. And it's like, that's hard and it sucks. And it's like, how can we make that, how can that be the standard, I guess, that like people are willing to work with you. And it's not just like, you're not going to be there for me, so I'm just going to do this myself. Like, why does it have to be like that?
Unfortunately, that is how the politics in this city has worked for a very long time. Adam and I voted for me for president again.
Yeah.
And in doing that, we got punished for it. Let's be honest. And I don't hear from leadership. They don't call me. I get texts infrequently from the president. They put me, I asked for one thing. I did not get the one thing.
And that was a committee?
City operations chair.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even get vice chair. Yeah. I got member as someone who's, at this point, a seasoned veteran when you look at who's on council.
Sure.
And chair of DEI, which is absolutely fine with me, but that group hasn't formed yet because one of the members hasn't responded to the formation email. So
what? We'll
continue to wait until they respond, but
Jeez.
The other member did.
Okay.
But I do worry for our city. Look, I'm not anti-sure. If it's good stuff, it's good stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'll work with him, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll stand my ground where I have to.
Yeah.
But I get worried that this year could really be a rubber stamp.
Yeah.
I think you saw that last night with the board appointment and what happened to Farhan.
Yeah.
But sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Let's keep going through.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it as we get to it. So where Jake Brower is talking about the franchise fees. He said,
yeah, that thing.
And good to see those are going to help out with the ovation, as you mentioned.
Sure hope it won't be a parking lot here soon.
There's no vertical construction yet, so we're waiting on that.
Yes.
Brower also says expecting to see about $500,000 decrease from state funding sources over the year, I think. He had a nice shout out for the new head of finance, Crystal Thomas, for her work in Keen investing for the retirement funds. He said that we're getting a lump sum from the state for some public safety things. And President Spatafor asked, is that going towards the Office of Neighborhood Safety? And Jake was like, yes.
Yeah. I don't think he was really sure of the answer on that, the way he answered. I was also a little bit baffled because we didn't actually have the numbers in front of us that he was reading. We got a sheet of paper that said, follow this link. Oh my God. The other thing to remember about these updates is we just had the last meeting, our outside auditor go through. And anyone to say that our retirement is at a hunky-dory level was not listening to how much lower we are in percentage funding those funds for our retirees than almost every municipality in the state. Okay. Like 20% lower. Okay. Those funds are like dangerous. They're coming up.
Yeah.
But they're dangerously low. We did get some relief from the state, but it's a drop in the bucket compared to, I mean, we made a promise to these retirees and we've got to honor it. So it makes me nervous over the next 10 years. Like, how does this shake out?
Yeah, for sure. Next, we had a vacancy report by Human Resources Director and Deputy Elizabeth O'Leary and Kyla Moore. O'Leary reviews the city's hiring process for the new council members, and she says that priority order for the hiring is set by the individual departments. But what I don't understand from that is what's the priority of the departments? Like, is there, like, police is number 1, fire number 2, like public service number 3, or, like, how does that, you know what I mean?
Well, I think without, directly asking, it appears to me that it would be police, fire, public safety always comes first in the HR hiring process. They're constantly hiring. The number of vacancies did drop. But what's interesting is the amount of money for the vacancy factor went up about $600,000, which was an interesting change. It's, this vacancy factor thing, I think a lot of people are confused about it.
Sure.
I think the first thing to note is when you see a vacancy factor for a quarter and you see that monetary amount, that is not like new from just that quarter. And there's not, times that money by 4 and there's this big pot of money at the end of the year. That's literally the same money that they keep talking about that just keeps... It stays in that account, and it shifts. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's not a accumulation of money over the quarters. So that's why it fluctuates. It's still the same pot of money. It's just, we funded those positions if they get filled. And I wouldn't want to go down that road of taking that one-time money of, I think it was just over $2 million right now, to spend it on something, because that'd be one and done. And then the money's gone forever. How are you going to fund those positions?
Yeah.
And I know how that goes. You don't fund those positions. They disappear.
Yeah. O'Leary talked about how they did hire 100 people last year, but also 42 people retired. She talked specifically about the sustainability coordinator position that council had funded at the end of last year, and they're, quote, still working on the job description. So hopefully they can get that figured out.
Yeah.
There'll be a seasonal job fair at the Operations and Maintenance Building, March 7th.
Which is on South Street, for those that don't know.
And they are looking to fill 11 positions at that fair.
I think Elizabeth is working incredibly hard to get jobs filled. I mean, battling retirements, that's 25 and out, that's tough with a lot of those positions when people want to retire. And I think the other thing is... seasonal help is always tough to get.
Sure.
And one of the things that suffers when we can't get seasonal help for operations and maintenance is lawn and leaf bags. And the lawn and leaf bag season is quickly approaching. And I'm going to get some angry phone calls why they didn't pick up my lawn and leaf bags.
Yeah.
I get it.
Clerk Swope is up next. He's talking about there's going to be a special election in early May called by the Ingham County School District, and they're going to be changing 3 polling places that are at Lansing schools. Post Oak will be at Don Johnson, Kavanaugh will be at Parker Memorial Baptist Church, Dwight Rich will be at the Tabernacle of David. And Pelivonoglu asks, will these be permanent changes? And Swope was like, we're looking to get the polling places out of the schools. The schools don't really like it, but there's not a lot of options. Next, we had noise permit requests for some separating of the combined sewer work along Saginaw and Oakland and north of Old Town. And here we have Public Service Officer Mark Jones, and he's saying we need to get this done as quickly as possible due to the significant traffic challenges this will cause.
Yeah, don't go that way.
They say we did not hear any complaints from the citizens at that insanely long data center specific to noise ordinance here, so that's all good. But I feel like we did hear some complaints in the meeting before that. All councilors were fine with the Saturday noise permit request.
Yeah, on that one, I'm okay with. It's not necessarily in the middle of a neighborhood. I mean, Oakland is right out there, and yes, there's houses on both sides, but the disruption of not having Oakland open for traffic is going to cause total chaos in the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
So if we can get it done as quickly as possible, I'm all for it, because we will end up with a lot of people flying through neighborhoods.
Yes, even more.
We saw that with the construction on Michigan Avenue.
Yeah, definitely. Next, Attorney Venker, he said they want to add a new law firm to the approved outside counsel list to assist with a class action suit Lansing is joining against a company, F5 Inc. The city bought some of their stocks, and then the company, allegedly inflated their market statements or something. So Venker says we're looking at $300,000 that we could get back for the fire and police pension funds. Mm-hmm. So they're going to add Robinson, Geller, Redmond, and Dowd LLP to the outside counsel list. Great.
It's a pretty standard thing, I think.
Okay, cool. Then there's a closed session with HR Director O'Leary and Union Rep Dennis Parker to hammer out some collective bargaining details. And upon your return, Pelivonoglu reports there will be a 3% wage increase, $250 stipend for folks who need steel-toed boots, and money to pay for some job training and certification.
Yep.
As needed.
And it included in bereavement, made bereavement longer.
Okay.
It included brother and sister in their bereavement time, and in different areas included the word domestic partner, and also made it gender neutral throughout the contract. And then the 3% raise is actually 3% for 3 years. So 3%, 3%, 3%.
Oh, every year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be retroactive this year to February 1st.
That's February of this year. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So they'll get a bit of the bonus in their check.
Nice.
For whatever is owed to them, that 3%. And then next year, February 1st, and the following year, February 1st. It's a pretty damn good contract, as someone who lives and dies by a union contract in my day job.
Mm-hmm. Well, great. Thanks for doing that. And then we have the regular meeting that starts at 7. We have Mayor Andy Shore and City Clerk Chris Swope joining.
Yep.
So I'm going to talk about the comments people gave for general government issues at the end first here. So we had a representative from the AARP, Michigan, and this person says there's a big problem in our community. Older adults and really all people are having some cryptocurrency fraud happening. Over $125 million lost by Michigan residents to crypto fraud last year, I think. And he said 85% of those people being seniors.
Yep.
Criminals convince someone that there's some sort of urgency. They need to withdraw money from their bank and deposit it into the crypto kiosks. Mm-hmm. I think he said over 60 crypto kiosks in Lansing.
Yeah.
And there wasn't really an ask, but more of this is an issue, I guess.
So my PSA is going to be, first, your bank will never ask you to put money into crypto to pay them, okay? A legitimate purchase of a dog or any other purchase does not require you going to the store and buying gift cards. Do not do that either, because that is another scam that people fall for. Oh, yeah. It's got to be education, Jill.
Okay.
You can try to legislate it, but they'll just find a different scam. They'll get them a different way. They'll go back to the gift cards. They're still doing the gift cards. This is a shout out that, any senior citizen in the first ward of the city that, maybe gets one of those phone calls and doesn't know what to do, give me a call. I'm pretty effective at getting to the bottom of things.
Nice.
I'm also happy to mess with those people on the phone and say, I'm looking for Eunice too. She owes me money as well. Have you seen her? It's been 3 weeks. Last I knew, she was on a bender.
Next, we had someone concerned about lead.
Yeah.
Just lead. Future generations are being destroyed by lead. We need to have water and paint checked by housing inspectors. Also,
we have a program.
Okay, good.
We do. We have a lead program.
Great.
So it's through, I believe, the lead safe program is through HRCS or yes.
That sounds right.
I think it's HRCS, but you can check the city website for anybody that's listening. Mm-hmm. We have lead abatement available, money available to do that.
Nice.
He is right though. The lead paint is very dangerous.
Yeah.
In houses, and we have an aging housing stock.
Yeah. At the last city council meeting, we're talking about the rezoning of a small property. And Garza said This is a public comment is recapping this. And the public commenter said, Garza said, one person spoke in favor and no one spoke in opposition. Well, I was at this planning and zoning meeting. There were 2 people present at that meeting who spoke in opposition of the rezone. Then there was a public hearing here in front of council when I also spoke there. It would have been nice to be acknowledged. Everyone who wants to speak should be allowed to speak. And when people do show up and give a comment, the record should reflect that they actually did.
Yeah.
Regarding the last meeting, the meeting started late and public comment was after a lengthy presentation. At least 30 people who signed up to speak could not wait around the 3 hours to give their comment, and many others probably would have signed up but saw that there were so many people in the process and then decided to leave. This needs to change.
Don't disagree. And Jill, I'll tell you, if I had been the one in leadership that night for that meeting, I would have moved committee of the whole to an earlier start time, so we could have started council on time. I would have limited that presentation that they gave. I think that it was far too long. And I think the other thing is, with the sheer number of people that wanted to comment, I think lowering the time to 2 minutes, which is in the purview of the president.
Interesting, yeah.
You have to do it initially because it has to apply to everybody.
Sure.
I think that gives everyone a fair shot to speak on the issue. I think that most people could have gotten their point on the data center across within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It would have allowed other people to speak, right? Because we would have been moving through much quicker. But that presentation was ridiculously long.
It was long.
And there's been times, I think you heard me last year say several times, like, when I know that we have someone coming that will present for 2 hours, like, we need the Reader's Digest version, please, and we'll ask questions. It's not an ineffective government or trying to not hear the truth.
Right.
That simply is.
Everyone's got their own
interest,
presentation style.
And the data center thing, man, that was quite a meeting, and people have some strong opinions, and as you know, I posted publicly where I stand and why I stand there. And I work IT.
Yeah.
So.
We'll see. So they talked about there was a procedural issue that they needed to change, and I'm assuming that was in response to Dianera's push saying you can't rezone without owning this property. So what's going on there? Any idea?
No comment.
Fine. All right, moving on. Next, we had somebody representing the group Voters Not Politicians, and she was concerned about a ballot proposal folks are trying to get signatures on. It's the Americans for Citizens Voting, and she said this is being pushed by out-of-state billionaires. It's going to require detrimental ID laws would be put in place. Over 700,000 people would be removed from Michigan's voter roll. So this is going to target the elderly, women, voters of color. We have enough regulations in place right now to ensure only citizens can vote. Some of you sitting up there will not be able to vote. So
I wouldn't be able to.
Really?
I don't have a passport.
What? Why?
Because I don't travel the world. I'm
not
not wealthy. I've been out of the country once for 5 minutes when we used to be able to go to Canada. We went to Burger King back when I was a kid with my friend's parents, which was kind of risky, but we still could get across the border because I'm that old without identity.
You weren't swimming over? You were driving?
No.
Okay.
I do need to travel more. In fact, I am in the process. My mom has my birth certificate. I just asked for it the other day, so I can get a passport. I had an enhanced driver's license, which I managed to lose in like 3 days. And funny enough, they don't let you to renew it the same way they do your other one. You have to bring all that stuff back.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, Linda was right.
Yeah.
They can't win a election fairly, so we're going to change the rules. And I think we have voter ID laws. We are safe. There has been no evidence of voter fraud in Lansing or in the state of Michigan. And I think Linda has a reasonable concern there.
Yes.
With the ballot initiative. I think that it disenfranchises not just Democratic voters, but Republican voters as well. We all are the human beings, right?
Yep.
And whether you've got an R or D and how you vote, it doesn't matter. You would be affected by this.
Another commenter said, the recycling truck did not bother showing up. Please make sure the trucks run on time and expand Catter Route 6. It needs to cover all of Jolly in the city of Lansing. People need to get to the new election office. They may not trust putting their absentee ballots in the USPS anymore.
Yeah. Nick's great advocate for his neighborhood, and I certainly agree with him that we can do a better job with recycling. Heck, there's been several times where my bin wasn't picked up. I have city trash. I can tell you, though, that our staff is overworked and underpaid. Well,
not
I think
anymore.
Everybody's underpaid.
3% raise.
Yeah, that's not the same staff.
Oh.
But we don't have enough staff to do the trash, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
We're pretty heavy on management side, and that seems to be a priority to hire, and we need worker bees. And I talk to the union reps frequently. So I think it's important to remember we mess up with the trash and the recycling sometimes, and we forget stuff, but you can call CART. You call 311. I know CART can be infuriating to wait on the phone, but they will come out. You can also get a hold of your council member. I have turned numerous folks that trash was missed, got them back on the schedule because Fridays are our open day because we collect trash Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
So there's availability to pick up a bin.
Oh, good. Yeah.
But yeah.
Then we're getting into some presentations. So we've got Economic Development and Planning Director Raleigh Van Fossen and Matt Staples, one of the deputy city attorneys. And they're talking about the changes to city ordinances regarding building codes. First, they're going to go from the 215 to the 2021, quote, International Property Maintenance Code standards. And then for violations, they're going to move from a 2-tiered placard system to 4 tiers. And lastly, they're going to update some processes around rental property certification. So one change discussed will be an application process to waive the red tag fees on a monthly basis, and you have to apply a month in advance.
Yes.
If you can prove that you're making improvements to the structure.
Correct.
Navarez Martinez asked, can folks apply for that more than once? And they're like,
every month.
Yes. So that's good.
But you got to make sure you're doing the work.
That's not just one nail.
Not just one nail. And not two. But you're getting warmer with 2.
Okay.
Let's say somewhere between 2 and 1,000.
Got it.
But I'm going to lean more towards 1,000.
Yes. For building code violators. So I'm gonna do my best to recap this.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a white tag for unregistered rentals. That's gonna go up. Is that the only thing for the white tag?
I think so, yes.
Okay. And then if you fail an inspection, you get a yellow tag.
Yeah, and that could be because you didn't have a smoke detector or something.
Okay. 30 to 60 days later, pink tag or no pink tag?
That was unclear to me last night,
that
right?
Unclear to me too, yeah.
That was very unclear. And again, this is why I want to parse this thing out. I have, when I heard of go ahead and finish the different colors there.
Okay, so maybe pink tag, maybe not. But then after the yellow, there'll be red. And Raleigh and Van Fossen was saying no change in the definition here. Red is for unsafe to live in structures.
Yeah.
Black tag will be red tag properties that have moved beyond being unsafe, but they need to be demolished.
I don't know what the heck that means.
Same.
I think the red tag and the black tag are the same thing. I think the only thing it's going to do is it's going to say, look, we've tried this multiple colored tag thing during an election year. We try to bring the numbers down so we can say, look at all this progress we've made.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a rainbow colors and no one knows what they mean. Now, I'm going to be careful here. I did specifically ask if the staff was supportive of this.
Right, yes.
I don't know that was the truthful answer, and I'll leave that there.
Something Van Fossen kept saying is this is going to empower staff to do something right away. They're going to be empowered to put that notice right on the door. That's going to happen.
It's not. Just like we changed the ordinance on the trash bins so that they would, start putting tickets on if someone left them at the curb. Mm-hmm. That never happened.
Oh, like instead of dragging them back to their house?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
They told us that the way it was written was unenforceable, so we needed to rewrite it. It never happened.
Great.
My point is we hear, we hear all these great things. It's just like a used car salesman selling you a car with 100,000 miles. Yeah, it's got 100,000 miles on it, but this is...
Pelly Vonnegut says, if this passes, will current red tag properties be reassessed? Van Fossen is like, yes. Currently we have about 600 red tags, but 300 of those are the Sycamore townhomes. What's the status there?
They're working on it right now.
They're making
Everybody's out.
Okay.
And I will give a shout out to Adam Hussein, mm-hmm. Jody Washington, and myself, mm-hmm. Who are out there and advocating endlessly for the last few people to get out. But we had been out there for months. In fact, what spurred the start of that whole thing, there was a text message between Adam, myself, Jody, and the mayor. And Jody said, I'm going to call the press tomorrow if something's not done because of the conditions out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, kids were playing by the pool that had water in it the fence was all broken.
Yikes.
It was dangerous.
Yeah.
And the very next day we saw action, but the status is they're redoing them right now. And we got the last few folks out. Mm-hmm. Some of us still talk to them, mm-hmm. Stay in communication with them.
Nice.
It was a tragic situation that anyone should have to leave their home, mm-hmm. but the conditions there were so bad.
Yeah.
And I am hopeful we'll see those go back online with the renovations. But I think what's important is once we get these renovations done, we've got to end this endless cycle of in another 10 years they ask for more tax breaks because they've fallen apart again. Mm-hmm. When we're inspecting these properties, mm-hmm. They need to be held to a high standard and say, hey, when you start seeing dilapidation, like, you need to fix these things now.
Yeah.
Not compound it to where we ended up with, oodles of families that had to be displaced from there. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a gargantuan lift mm-hmm. To try to figure that out for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it is complicated, long, mm-hmm. and I'm hopeful that we'll have it back online soon.
Great. And part of this tagging discussion, you ask, can we publish a list of registered rentals mm-hmm. in good standing?
If you go to the Grand Rapids website for rentals, mm-hmm. a weekly PDF update, it's 300 pages long, but it has every address that's a registered rental.
Nice. Yeah.
The public should have access to registered rentals.
Yeah.
And I would argue that we should be mapping it like Flint does, where you can see houses that are not registered. Or if you're looking at a prospective house, you can look at the address mm-hmm. and you can see what kind of violations there are.
Absolutely.
I think that, the question always for me is not how do we punish landlords? The question for me is how do we hold accountable the bad actors? Mm-hmm. And it's a small percentage of those landlords that act bad. Mm-hmm. The problem is they own vast swaths of property.
And you asked, do you have buy-in from staff for these changes? Yes, of course. Everyone's empowered. Mm. And Navarez Martinez also reiterates that question. So for the rental registration process change, Van Fossen is saying, if someone's continually failing their inspections, you fall into a 2-year inspection cycle. If you have unpaid fees, including property taxes, your rental certificate is revoked.
Yes.
Yes. So we have 3 public comments about these changes. First, from the Rental Property Owner Association.
Joe.
Yes. And he says, look, we're not opposed to these ordinances, but compliance history should play in when determining the inspection cycle. So if people are doing a good job, we should have a longer inspection cycle. 3 to 5 years makes more sense for people who with a demonstrated record of good compliance. We're fine on the placard changes. Agreed. There should be a public searchable website for tenants to look up people. We want enforcement that prioritizes life, safety hazards. We want effective oversight. And then there's a phone recording. Somebody says, I've been working with folks experiencing food and housing insecurity. I support the new tagging system. I've seen countless examples of affordable housing units plagued with mold, pests, sewage, toilets backing up into bathtubs. Tenants are afraid that they cannot report these issues. We need harsher penalties for bad actors.
Yep.
One more commenter says, it's friggin' time you came up with this. Not all property issues are equal. We need to punish the nasty landlords that really neglect their properties.
Nick. And the other person was Darren.
Yes.
Who couldn't make it, as I understood, but they weren't wrong.
Yeah.
Mold. I'll give Joe this. I was not an advocate of Simtob properties, and they did put a lot of money into them, and they did clean them up, and I will give them credit where credit's due. I did have a complaint about mold at one of their properties, and I went to Joe. I had their building manager, maintenance manager, within 10 minutes at that apartment that looked through it, sent me pictures. There was nothing there.
Okay.
But, I mean, they addressed it immediately. Like, if this was a problem, we're going to address it.
Good. Then we're having an appointment of Florencio Hernandez to the Ward 1 position on the Board of Police Commissioners. He is the vice president of the Lansing Labor Council for Latin American Advancement, was on the city's DEI advisory board, works for Michigan State University in admissions, is from Lansing, was in high school, part of a junior city council group.
And a great guy.
Great guy. You're up there saying, look, this great guy, great pick for this role. But because of the process, because of the way the administration has refused to reelect Farhan Omar, I'm not supporting this appointment. Councilmember Hussein also says, Omar engaged folks in a way that maybe we haven't seen before. He spoke truth to power, and I hope in the future that if there is another opening, he reaches out. We did receive a lot of support for Hernandez and Omar from constituents.
Yeah.
Pelivanoglu says, I'm going to echo the sentiments of my council members, but we have an application for Hernandez to fill the role before us.
Isn't that a politician's answer?
And we should stay in our lane. She didn't say that, but that's the way it came out.
Yeah, well, she told me to shut up.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with that.
I don't think he's going to be a rubber stamper.
Who?
That's what Pelivanoglu said.
Yeah, well, and I don't know that he's going to be a rubber stamper either, but that's not the issue, and it was absolutely the appropriate time to say that this was a flawed. I have never, in my time, seen anyone that wanted to be on a board who wanted to continue to serve, and after only serving a few months, and was told no. Nope, we don't want you. That is politics 101. I hate the political answer that I heard last night. I'll be honest, that was a politician's response, how she responded. It's not the question before us. It is. It's about fairness. And it's not Florencio's fault that he was put into that situation.
Right.
The mayor, we did everything. I sat down with the mayor and Farhan, and I really thought there was a good faith effort there. There was from Farhan. Not from the administration. They just didn't like him. No matter what, we had to beg to get him on there, and we shouldn't have to beg to get someone on that was voluntarily going to a meeting, the police commissioners' meetings, already as a citizen. He was the only one there.
That's upsetting.
And I kept hearing attendance issues, and I finally got the attendance. There's other people on that board that have missed many more meetings. He missed one. I mean, the attendance was not an issue. And, the other thing we heard was Farhan would refuse to serve on any of the subcommittees. He wasn't allowed to because he was a dissenting voice. Yikes. I'm so tired of, look, my dad's retired from the sheriff's department, not anti-cop, okay? But this is the oversight for our police department. You cannot have all like-minded folks in this room that are flying blue line flags and yay police. And I'm not being specific to anyone in there, but I've looked at all of their social media.
Mm-hmm.
It's concerning that they're so strongly pro-police, but also the oversight.
Yeah.
You have got to have impartial people that are oversight.
Yeah.
We have some really great people that do serve on that. I will say that. But again, Farhan was the dissenting voice, and we do not like dissent in this city.
And really representing a swath of the population that isn't being represented by others on that commission.
I don't know that we have a refugee Muslim who lived in public housing. That demographic is not represented on any of our boards or commissions as far as I know. And, the wild part is that is a chunk of people. We have a lot of refugees in Lansing. And most are African-American. Most are Muslim. And that, that is a big swath of people that should be represented. When we're talking about fairness, I am a strong believer in diversity. I really have to point out the diversity in thought is big to me.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a harder thing maybe that, it's not so readily apparent. You can't just really look at somebody and say like, oh.
I will say that one person in the audience that did come up for the swearing in pointed out that they won't forget in 2 years that we voted no. I looked at Florencio in the eye when I said what I said, and I meant what I said. It was not personal, and 99 out of 100 times I would have voted for him.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
It was a situation. So, and I don't know that I made that clear, but
I think you did. Somebody who got the last word was Councilmember Navarez Martinez, who also agreed with Peli Bonaglu, saying we need to stay in our lane. And she was happy to have a Latinx voice in the police climate that we have currently, but not a Muslim African-American immigrant voice. I feel like it was rough. Farhan was at that meeting.
I know. I shook Florencio's hand. He was nodding his head when I was talking. He understood it wasn't personal.
Yeah.
And shook my hand. But I think the special part of that meeting was those two shaking hands and hugging. And Farhan was upset. But it wasn't against Florencio.
Sure.
He was upset about the situation. And this whole let's stay in our lane thing, like, this is our lane. We are are we going to be a rubber stamp and say, well, the mayor said that he wanted this person on here, so it's an 8-0 vote, done. Or are we going to be the check and balance? I mean, the Charter Commission pretty much stripped a lot of our teeth out. We don't have an internal auditor anymore underneath us. So, we have got to, I heard the Charter Commission say that we need to use the powers we have. So I did last year. And I got a lot of crap for it. But it's the powers were provided. And, it worked. We have lists now of who's applied for boards and commissions. And I did that because I stood my ground. It was the right thing to do. And I was tired of hearing, we'll get right on it. Well, I'm going to jam the system up. And, I think the other thing is, I'm not mayor, okay? And I think a lot of people are qualified for getting on these boards. But I'm also tired of seeing the political favors happen to get on these boards. There are ordinary citizens who want to serve on these boards that don't get a chance. We need ordinary citizens serving on these boards. Not if you throw out an endorsement of me in a week.
Moore's Park citizens.
Well, or the random, like, okay, you've been put onto this commission, and then I'm going to endorse you. I don't like that stuff. I think that's, I'll hear about all this at some point, but it's not right. It should be ordinary citizens that want to serve the city in a capacity.
It seems to me a little bit like if it wasn't Mayor Shore's idea, he's not in favor of it. Like, he doesn't seem super open to, like, other people's ideas on how to make change.
Well, what? But no, he's not, because he won this election and he thinks he's bulletproof because it was a big margin. I will tell you that I don't want to fight with the mayor, but he also does not listen. He does not. You're right. Unless it's his idea, forget it. And even if you have a good idea, about 6 months later, you'll see it. All of a sudden, it'll be their idea. Like, hey, look what we came up with. Oh, wow, that's magic. It's like the flexible concrete, right, that Michigan State's developed. I absolutely threw him under the bus on his social media post. Like, I'm the one that, like, sent, like, for, I don't know, for months, all the information, like, hey, you need to check this out. We could be a pilot for this.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to call MSU's president.
Yeah.
And then he had posted about the flexible concrete and how he did this, that, and the other thing. Thanks. And I responded to the social media post. I'm glad that you took my advice on this. I got a phone call within 5 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
You get quick phone calls, but
yeah.
Look, come on. Let's just share credit.
That is what you're proving that you're going to respond to. You know, it's like, if that's the way that you're going to get a response from him quickly, he's just reinforcing that cycle.
I know.
By only responding to people when there's like these like crazy social media emergencies coming up. It's like, what?
I think he has a good heart, right?
Yeah. At this point in the meeting,
yeah,
the person sitting in front of me broke their favorite fidget toy, and little royal blue Orbeez went flying across the floor. And it was really sad. She was really sad that her toy broke.
Man, I wish I had a fidget toy.
They're great. Oh, my God. You know what I'm going to get you for Christmas. Next, we have Chris Klein, head of the Lansing Economic Development Corporation, reminding us what tax increment financing is. And Julie Lawton-Essa of the Lawton Group, hoping for the brownfield tax breaks on a 124-unit apartment complex planned for Lenawee and Walnut, a parking lot they bought from the Lansing School District a number of years ago. This is going to be next to another development. Her group has already completed the Metro Place Apartments, and it's near the Ingham County Court building and Reuter Park. They're going to be 108 single-person units and 16 two-bedroom units. This project will cost them $39 million, and they will get $24 million back from the brownfield tax reimbursement over 30 years. They're targeting area median income for single people making $70,000 a year. They're going to give the Parks Department $100,000 for Reuter Park. Garza says, I thought we had like a 15-year cap on these. And Klein is like, no, we have a bunch of exceptions. So this gets an exception. It can be 30 years. Garza says, would you do this development without the brownfield incentives? And they're like, no, this is not financially viable without it.
But just to sidebar here, Jill, for the listeners, every developer says that.
Yes.
Every single developer ever has said that.
Of course. Garza says, are you going to redo that fountain at Reuter Park? And the mayor is like, it's $1 million to renew the fountain. And Spatafor and you are like, I thought we were saving up for that. And I think it comes out like $60,000 has been earmarked for
$600,000.
Sorry, $600,000. Yes. Martinez says, I'd love to see more commercial space on the main floor. They're like, that's not economically viable. No one wants to have commercial spaces anymore. Martinez also says, why do you need these tax breaks? And Klein is like, this is going to benefit the whole downtown area. And there's one public comment about this saying, this is not a true brownfield. We are giving away too much money, and it is appallingly insulting that they're only giving back $100,000
I think she called herself an old school brownfield person, Deb Mulhaney. She's a hoot. I've been playing phone tag with her now for about a month. Okay. She calls me, I can't answer. I call her, I get her machine.
Okay.
I mean, actual, like, I think at home she's still got, like, little, like, you know, with the tape in it.
Good for
right?
her.
Like,
yes.
I don't think it's a voicemail. Yeah. I got it right here on this here tape. If only I could find a little recorder. She's great.
Yes, she's up there giving her thoughts, so that's great.
You know, we hear we need affordable housing. We do. We have a lot of it. It's not great. Mm-hmm. We also need affordable housing that is dignified.
Yeah.
And safe to live in. Mm-hmm. I think that's missed sometimes. Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm hesitant when I see some of these tax breaks for more affordable housing. Mm-hmm. How did we get here?
Workforce.
Yeah, workforce, which is market rate, really, mm-hmm. for most people.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get these numbers from, but people are not making that kind of dough mm-hmm. here in Lansing. I mean, workforce is a supposed to be affordable option, but you look at the sliding scale, it's like you start off at $53,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it goes without saying that we continue to build just one style of housing, which is this apartment high-rise. Mm-hmm. We need a variety of housing that's not only affordable, but, working class houses.
Okay, some wrap-up stuff. Navarez Martinez says, thanks, folks, for coming to my constituent contact meetings. She says when the next one will be. Hussein says something similar. And he also says one issue discussed at his constituent contact meeting was something that council has passed last year about increased transparency for council meeting attendance mm-hmm. for councilors, not for like other people. And there used to be a summary on the city webpage, but now there's no summary what's going on. President Spatafor says, we didn't want to do the math to make the summaries comparable across all council members because, like, some people go to, like, have different amount of, like, committee meetings that they're assigned to, so we couldn't figure out, like, a good way to summarize that, so we're just throwing the raw data up there. Folks can sift through it if they want. Councilmember Hussein is like, can we get a summary back? And Spatafor is like, fine, that could have been an email.
I know.
It's like, I'm sure he has emailed you and he's got no response. So many people are emailing you, council members, and we're getting nowhere with it. That's why people come to council.
I know.
All of the council meeting could be an email if you would just do a good job and respond to people.
I try to respond as often as I can to people.
Not yelling at you, just like...
No, yell.
Oh my God.
We don't want to put those attendance numbers up because it would be embarrassing for some people.
The mayor says the state of the city address will be on March 18th. So if you want to come, please RSVP to attend that. Then the new Human Relations Community Services Interim Director, Delvada Moses.
Yes, Miss Moses.
She wants to give a tribute to two organizations.
Yes. First,
to Mowers Sanitary Cleaners, who clean coats to be distributed to folks in need. She says this is an example of the powerful partnership when private businesses and government work together. Also, CATA, Capital Area Transportation Authority. They are the big engine that could. They are hosting the venue for our Community Connect Center at their new headquarters downtown. Thank you for partnering with us, your manpower, your resources, and your money.
Yep. CATA has always been a good community partner. I got a lot of respect for Brad.
He gave a presentation last year.
Yeah.
I feel like it was one of the best presentations I've ever seen.
I will tell you, out of all the people that I email, he responds right away and takes care of stuff. When we had construction on Michigan, mm-hmm. Because I ride the bus too. Mm-hmm. Big advocate, like, hey, we need to stop here. Mm-hmm. Next day it was there.
Brad.
He takes care of it. And he really does want to continue to improve CATA.
Yeah.
And that is, that's apparent.
That's awesome. The best dressed from the meeting was a representative from CATA who had on an ankle-length bubblegum pink overcoat with silver and diamond encrusted necklaces and a bouncy cherry charm on her Louis Vuitton-esque purse.
Yes, it was very stunning.
Mm-hmm. One speaker for one of the 6 properties that we're having a show of cause hearing for Make Safe or Demolish came, and this was a neighbor saying, please tear down this building.
Yes.
People are doing drugs there. Police
Austin.
are called. Someone found a suitcase of marijuana and a gun on the porch. My kids are trying to play around here. This is not good times.
This house is in the first ward, and this is... I can't tell you how many times I've been to the house, and I've been texting Austin now for 8 months about this house. and we finally got it to this point. I've been pressuring the department, so I'm glad to see it. It's a problem. I'm glad to see it moving along.
Yeah. Thanks, Austin, for being there.
Yep. He was nervous, by the way. He texted me, how do you do that?
Oh.
And I give him kudos that he went up to that microphone.
Yeah.
With social anxiety.
Yeah.
To stand up there and speak into that microphone.
He did great. He did not seem nervous to me.
My thing, so my weird kick up there is during public comment. I put down all my pencils and I make uncomfortable eye contact.
You are staring at people.
But you know what? I want them to know I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I know. That is nice. That's nice.
I want to know, I'm listening. I hear you.
Yeah.
Your comments matter. Mm-hmm. You took the time to show up to this meeting, which is, is
huge pain in the ass.
Dry as my mom's Thanksgiving turkey. And
instead of emailing, this is why we come to the meetings.
I know.
And then there was a land use and rezoning change public hearing for the Union Missionary Baptist Church on South MLK. Someone is opposing this. They're saying, I'm in favor of more places for people to shelter, but this is spot zoning. Respect current zoning and focus on creating a plan for folks facing housing insecurity.
Yeah, it's for families. It's kind of I almost feel like the mayor when I said let's open City Hall as a warming center, which I still think should be done. It's a public building, for Christ's sake. In there. Yeah, it's warm. And it's a giant, easily securable lobby. Yes. Thank you to the Women's Center, by the way, for stepping up during the Code Blue. Because, quote, if the mayor won't do it, we will. Yeah. But they called, and this was one of the people that answered. But I think really the biggest problem is, the spot zoning, and this is temporary. We need real solutions to this. We shouldn't have to shelter families because there should be something available for them to get into. Yeah. We have limited resources at the city level, and we really need our state partners and our federal partners, HUD, to stand up.
What's the best way for citizens to make change?
To not just show up to council meetings, to show up to committee meetings, to show up to advisory boards, to volunteer your time with the city, sign up for an advisory board, start sending emails, be vocal, find your neighborhood group, get your neighborhood group active, be vocal there, press for change. If you want something in the charter changed, do a petition. Seriously, get involved. I promise you're not wasting your time, that meaningful change can happen if the citizens are engaged. And that's a politician's worst fear, is an engaged citizenship.
Yeah, why?
Because if people are engaged, they're going to know that they're getting burned. That's the word I'm looking for. Listeners can fill in whatever word they thought I was going to use. If you know me, you already know what I was going to say. It's the truth, though. Yeah. And we don't want them involved because if they're involved, that means that we're going to have to do stuff. And it doesn't go for everybody. But let me tell you, we have some really fantastic frontline workers. We've got some great council members. Yeah. We have some great staff in the mayor's office. That works great. But there are absolutely the political elites in this city that don't want to lift a finger. And I'll be honest with you, I have told people who have brought their issues that aren't in my ward, like, respectfully, you need to go to that ward's, council member. You have a ward member and 4 at large. Yeah. They made sure to enshrine that in the new city charter. Yes. So
I'm glad you're setting that boundary.
I have to, because the first word should come first for me. Yeah. Now, I always leave a caveat. If you don't hear anything, please let me know again. I'm not completely cold-hearted, but I can't, I can't lift the weight of other wards. I've got to make sure that I'm taking care of the people in the first ward.
Like, you shouldn't be punished for being an active council member.
I'm not and I'm not an at-large member, right?
Right.
They brought up the point. That's why they kept the You have 5 council members to choose from.
That's right.
So call one of them.
Yes.
and that's not me being nasty, setting a
No.
nastygram. You certainly can reach out to me if you don't hear from them.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this podcast. You can check out the Patreon for the podcast for bingos for each meeting, as well as issue maps of all the locations discussed during the meeting. I want to thank you to new Patreon member Caitlin, who signed up since the last episode. Thank you, Caitlin. The next meeting will be in 2 weeks on March 9th. Our guest will be Alyssa Cooling, nee Tursik. And what would you like to give any more shout outs, Ryan? Events or groups or whatnot?
Well, I'll give a shout out to you. Thank you, Jill, for hosting this podcast. This is regular on my Spotify.
Awesome.
I am a longtime listener. Shout out to the Eastside Compost if people are looking for
Eastside Compost.
Some composting.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great program on the East Side
Mm-hmm.
that I believe your husband.
And it actually serves all of Lansing and East Lansing
Correct.
now. So yeah.
Correct. I see him out working in the spring, delivering stuff, and I see the piles that you guys have that are the compostable piles. So
little worm homes.
Yep. Shout out to you guys for everything that you do, and
thank you.
We appreciate the fact that you cover City Council because there's not a lot of coverage there.
That's why I'm doing this. So great. It's all happening. City Council.
Obviously, you're not doing it for the money because your hair is wild today.
I was like, it's Ryan. I'm not changing.
Oh no, I am like I've been due for a haircut for like a month. I text the girl that cuts my hair, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you ready for a haircut?" I'm like, "Yes." That was the last response from 2 weeks ago. So Bailey, if you're listening to this, girl, I need my haircut. It's getting long.
I did hear from a friend of mine that she was at the salon and overheard one of the other patrons talking up the podcast. So it's a good place to tell people about the podcast.
Well, I tell people about the podcast all the time.
Awesome. Thank you.
You have a following, so.
Yeah, it's been fun. Let's try to keep it going, Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Public Media Center, for letting us record with you. Thank you all for listening.
Love Lansing.
Love Lansing.